Hi, welcome to Biology 104. I wanted you to look at the tentative syllabus schedule. If you notice, there are 4 columns to your left, and these cover the lecture portion of the class. Now you know that the lecture portion is really the online portion, and it's divided into units. And the first unit is our introduction. On the left column, it'll give you at what time this will be done. So this is our first week. The second column will give you the dates, the date range. And then this third column will give you the topics or the concepts we're going to be covering during that date range. And then you'll see also their corresponding chapters that you need to read while you're going through this material. On the right side, you're going to see 2 columns. One gives you the name of the laboratory activity, and the other one tells you the dates. So let's look at the laboratory activity names. What I want you to notice, you're going to see 2 abbreviations, BB and HO. BB means you need to go to the bulletin board, or Blackboard rather, and take a look at the lab folder, which you can find on the left-hand column. You'll notice there's a little folder called Laboratories. If you click on that and go to the appropriate week, the laboratories we're going to be using for that week are located in there. There's a 1 or 2 slide PowerPoint for each specific laboratory, and then if there are any handouts that need to be printed, you'll find them there, and you'll need to print those out yourself before you come to lab. Now, these labs that aren't on Blackboard, you're going to find in the lab packet that you purchased at the bookstore. So on Tuesday of this week, we're going to be doing lab safety. I'll go over lab safety. You're going to need to print that out. That needs to be included in your notebook. And in your lab packet, you're going to find a lab that's entitled Scientific Method. Go to your lab packet, find that, read through the notes, and there is a pre-lab multiple choice sheet that you need to have complete before you walk into class. That's due when you arrive at class, and I will grade it while you guys are working on your lab and hand it back to you that day. So you'll have additional information for completing the post-lab. So this Tuesday we'll be doing lab safety, which you print off from Blackboard, and scientific method, which you pull from your lab notebook. One thing I want you to notice here on the right is there are 2 dates, the 27th and 28th. Always look at these second dates in this column. Those apply to us. Remember, there are day classes as well as night classes, and online versus the traditional seat time classes. So we'll be only concerned with the second set of dates. Another thing I wanted to show you is there won't be a lab on the 3rd or 4th of September. That is because of Labor Day, and that keeps us in sync with all of the other classes. So just note that we'll have 2 labs this coming week, then you'll have a lab day off, and then we'll be back to a normal schedule after that. Some additional things I want to point out. You'll notice here in week 3 and 4, there's a microscope competency quiz. What that is I will ask you to name parts of the microscope and show how to use the microscope properly. You'll have to demonstrate that to me. We will be going outside occasionally, and one of those times will be here, the Casey Hart's natural area, which is immediately outside our lab. We have to walk a little bit, but we'll be going through the Casey Hart's natural area and looking at the biotic and abiotic factors of that area. The next time that we meet during that week, we'll be going to the dunes, and that's in North Muskegon. That is a 3-hour field trip. And we'll be taking a van, a school-owned van up there, so don't worry about having to drive yourself. It really is a fun trip, and we learn a lot, and that will be on September 27th. We'll leave campus at 5 and we'll return by 8. An additional thing I wanted to point out, as we go down the schedule, you'll notice exam 1 And Exam 1 covers Units 1 through 3. It does not cover the rainforest biome, so the units prior to rainforest biome will be covered. And any lab that was done through September 27th. And these are the objectives that it covers. Now what I've done is I've pulled these individual objectives from the main list of objectives and put them on a document I called the Exam 1 Study Guide and posted it on Blackboard. One thing I want you to note, yes, there are a lot of objectives that we cover in this first exam and every other exam after that. But don't panic because a lot of these objectives are covered again and again throughout the semester. Just rest assured you're looking at some of them several times and you will really master them by the end of the semester. But a word to the wise, start your study plan now. I would start going through these objectives, through the reading, listen to the podcasts that are on the Blackboard, ask questions of your fellow students, ask me questions. You will be ready for that first exam if you set a schedule and you stick to that schedule and you start out right away studying for that first exam. The next thing I want you to note is on the week of October 15th, and specifically for us, October 16th, you're going to have your first lab practical. So that'll take place in the lab. You'll have stations set up that you'll move through answering questions. So it's really important that when you come into lab, you spend time talking and looking and asking questions. Because the lab practical, if you're here and if you're an active participant, really isn't that difficult. I look forward to helping you if you need help. I'm simply an email away. That's really the best way to get a hold of me. It's joanne.flazier@muskegoncc.edu. Anytime you have a question, I'm very prompt getting back with people. And another thing I wanted to point out, the final exam will be determined later, the exact date, but it's December 11th through the 14th. And as with all of the lecture exams, those are given in the testing center, and you will need to make an appointment on your own. I will give you a date range that you can have access to the exams, and you call the testing center and make your own actual time and date to take the exam with them. But the final exam is actually a combination of exam 4 and then a cumulative piece. So it's short. Exam 4 is shorter than the other three. The final exam is cumulative. It covers the range of all the objectives and all the labs that we have done. So again, start early, study hard, study smart a little bit every day, and you really will be successful in your class. That's what I'm here for, is to help make sure that you're successful. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.